Hello my loves, welcome back to the channel. It has been long overdue, over 3 weeks I think since I've posted a video. So if you still are subscribed, thank you so much, because I did not want this channel to die. That was the last thing. So I was kind of trying to think of some rebranding things, and of course I still want to keep it a lifestyle channel but add some story times in, because you know what, 2022, let's get a little more personal. And also some of these story times I've had told on the previous channel, my main channel, but I'm pretty sure I either deleted it, quality was bad, missed a lot of details. So I'm like, let me retell some stories over here and let's get it personal, right? Let's make it fun. So one of many videos to come. I have a schedule, so I will be posting, you know, weekly. But without further ado, you see the title, The Time I Got Cheated On. This is the first time that I knew that I was cheated on. So if I ever did get cheated on later on in life, in any past little kitty relationship that I had, I didn't know, but I knew this time for sure. Caught him in that act, pretty awkward, pretty embarrassing. Let's get into it. I was in 10th grade. I had Spanish as an elective, and there was this boy in the class that resembled Chris Brown. So he didn't look exactly like him, but he resembled him. So we're gonna call him C Clown, because that's the perfect name for him. He was very quiet, to himself. Honestly, I didn't see him outside of this class. Like, I just saw him in this one class, and I didn't see him, you know, around school. I didn't have any friends that knew him or of him. At least I thought. So I just thought I would never have the chance with him, because at this point in time I was a little insecure. So that's one thing. But then also, he didn't talk, very standoffish, seemed kind of unfriendly. So I just thought, yeah, you're good looking, but that's as far as that's gonna go. However, one day I saw my friend. It was during lunchtime, and he came out to our lunch and he was talking to her. So I was like, oh my god, like somebody that I know actually knows him. When he left, I asked my friend about him, and she was telling me a few things. She told me that his dad actually worked at the school, and so that's why he was to himself and very quiet. His dad was a very popular teacher, and he didn't want people to know, and he didn't want it, like, he also didn't want teachers to have issues with him and then report it to his dad, that sort of thing. So he was a very good student overall. And then also that he just didn't believe in dating people from school, because he had a past girlfriend and it didn't work out. And so he was just focused on getting the grades. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I told her I thought he was cute. And she was like, yeah, most people think he's cute because he looks like Chris Brown. And so there is that. The following day, my friend runs up to me and she goes, girl, don't be mad, but I spoke to him for you because I just knew that you thought he was cute and all this stuff. And I was like, what did he say? And she tells me that he wanted my phone number. So she gives him my number, and I get his phone number, and we start texting. The texting wasn't anything deep. It wasn't anything of value, I guess you can say. Like, we weren't even trying to get to know each other. It was more so, oh, how was class? How did you like class? Oh, did you do your homework? Did you understand this sentence that she was trying to teach us? You know, it was always about the class, which oddly enough, although we text about the class, I never spoke to him during class, even after getting his number. Like, we still never made eye contact with each other. We still never spoke to each other. I would leave class as soon as the bell rang. He would like stay a little after sometimes to talk to the teacher. So I never saw him and spoke to him. Everything was still the same. It was quite weird. And if I would have knew about catfish back then, I probably would have thought, yo, is this girl texting me as him? Because like, we're not even speaking in class. It's like nothing changed. But anyway, summer comes, and that's when he's like, hey, you know, summer's here. Let's really try to get to know each other. I'm no longer distracted by school and all this stuff. And I thought, oh my god, like, this boy's really in a school. That's awesome. It's a turn on. He's all about education. And so we start talking. Now, one thing that, well, I didn't know it was a red flag, but at the time I thought it was like really awesome, that he always had scheduled times to speak to me, right? So he will always say like, oh, it's called a date. That's what people call it. It's a date. So let's have our date tomorrow at 9:00 p.m. I'll call you and we'll watch a movie over the phone together. Or let's have a date tomorrow at 12 p.m. and we'll play truth or dare over the phone, and you know, like something like that. Like, every time we spoke on the phone, there was a purpose. There was no speaking throughout the day. There was no texting throughout the day. There was always times to speak to this guy. So he felt like it was better that way because, you know, it's a date and it's more romantic. And honestly, I was like, yo, that is crazy. Like, we're talking about stuff, we're having fun over the phone. So I'm not thinking much into it. You know, I'm young anyways. But he's like, yeah, let me call you tomorrow at, you know, from 12 p.m. to 1:30, we'll do this, and then we could text at this time period. Like, he always just had time periods to talk to me. And I didn't think anything of it because we always had a purpose to being on the phone, and it was funny and it was fun, and, you know, we enjoyed ourselves talking to each other, and it wasn't pointless conversations. You know, we're playing games, we're watching movies, we're discussing the movies. I was like, yo, this kid is so different than anybody that I've ever spoken to. As days progress and our conversation continues and all that, he asks, you know, where do you live? I never asked you, where do you live? And so I tell him the city that I live in. Oh, also, let me tell you this. We went to a magnet school. So when you went to this magnet school, it was because you were in a major. So I was pre-med. I don't know what he was, honestly, but I was pre-med. So my school zone wasn't that school. We were actually an hour away from that school. That's why he asked. Like, oh, where do you live? So I tell him the city. He's like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I live 5 minutes down the street from your house. Like, I'm always passing your house. And so I asked my mom if I can go to his house. Like, he was like, oh, I have your mom, bring you over here. My mom will be here. And, you know, we could just have fun, watch movies and eat popcorn, all that stuff. So I begged my mom. She was like, okay, cool. So she meets his mom. His mom is actually really sweet, very down to earth, a cute lady. I remember her complimenting me. Oh, you're so cute. You're so pretty. Oh my gosh, my son's little girlfriend. Like, that's pretty much what that was. And it's funny because at the time, he never claimed me as his girlfriend. I kind of just assumed boyfriend, girlfriend because we were talking half the summer. And, you know, now I'm going over to his house. So the first time that I went over to his house, it was very nice. We watched a movie, we discussed a movie. It was literally like how we were over the phone. We would watch the movie together, we would discuss the movie, and he would always have some questions about the movie that nobody ever had, like, oh, what do you think the purpose of the movie was? Or, you know, like little things like that. He was a very big movie person. So we did that, and then his mom made us a charcuterie board filled with little snacks. We ate, and my mom picked me up, and there was that. And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this guy didn't try to get in my pants. This guy was so sweet. It was so romantic. Come the second time, I asked my mom, can you drop me off? And it was the same thing. She drops me off. We're watching a movie. Only this time, he's like, oh, can you sit on the bed? Now, let me tell you about this kid. This kid was very spoiled. The definition of spoiled. He was the only boy. So he had his own room. His room, I think, was the master bedroom. He had a bathroom in there. It was huge. He had a couch in his bedroom. And behind the couch was like movie posters and everything. And straight across from the couch was his bed. Now, his bed is this way. There's no TV that you can see from the bed. But when you walk in and you sit on a couch, the TV's right there. So I'm like, why would I sit on your bed? Like, I can't see the TV from there. He's like, just get on the bed. Get on the bed. So he's over here trying to make out with me, do the touching, you know, hormones and little boys, they don't mix. And he's like, you know, let me take your V card. I'm just putting it out there. He's like, let me take the V card. I'm like, no. Honestly, there was this short period of time where I thought about it, but I'm like, I don't love you. Like, I'm not in love with you. I just really like you. So I said no. I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it. And I go back on the couch to watch the movie. Well, he didn't like that, and he starts texting. Like, he's over me at this point, and I felt embarrassed. Like, I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm so proud I turned this guy down. No, I started regretting instantly. I'm like, man, I hope this guy still likes me, you know? I was young, and I'm dumb, naive, and he's on his phone just texting. So I'm like, yo, who you texting? He's like, don't worry about it. His mood is completely changed. Now, before this, prior, he was like the sweetest guy, very charming, very nice. He never gave me that type of energy. And even though he looked like Chris Brown, I thought to myself, wow, like this guy, he knows he's good looking, but like he doesn't act like he's good looking, if that makes sense. If you notice the quality change, or it's because my camera died, so now I'm using my phone. I hope I'm looking at you and not myself. But All right, so he didn't act good looking. Like a lot of the times at school, the really good looking guys, the popular guys, you know, they would act super cocky, act like buttholes. But this guy, he looked really, really good, like literally like Chris Brown, like I'm saying. And he didn't act like that. Very humble personality, very to himself, you know. And so it was shocking that he was acting like this. But then again, I turned him down to taking my V card. So I'm pretty sure that was the energy. I was like, okay, fine. I'm not even going to get mad about it. It is what it is. After that, we didn't talk for a few days, and I was definitely in my feelings about it because every day he would call me. There was always a time zone for us to talk, and for like 2-3 days he did not call me. So I remember calling my friend, and I was like, what should I do? Should I call him, you know? And she was like, girl, just call him. So I call him, acts like everything's normal. He's like, you want to come over? I'm like, yeah, let me come over. So I asked my mom. She's like, yeah, you could go, you know, in a few days. So like, you know, so we waited a few days to go for me to go to his house. And when I was waiting to go to his house, like those days in between, we did not speak. So anyway, so when I do go to his house, everything's cool, everything's chill, but he's very distant, very off. He's not watching the movie. He's on his phone. And at this point, I'm like, okay, something's up. So when he goes to the bathroom, he leaves his phone. I go through his phone, or at least I try to, but he had a password. And he comes out, and this guy is a completely different person. I'm talking about full-blown animal. Snatches the phone, goes off on me for even having the phone in his hand. I'm like, just chill, just chill. That day, his mom actually offered to bring me home. So I'm in the car, and in my head, I'm like, yo, I think this relationship's over. Like, I'm pretty sure that this, whatever this is done. He already cursed me out, and now it's just awkward. It's just awkward at this point. But my phone had died. That's what I said. And I asked him, like, can I use your phone? Can I use your phone to call my mom just to let her know I'm on the way? So his mom's like, oh, clown, give her your phone. So he gives me his phone, and he's talking to his mom, and I'm like pretending like I'm dialing the number, and I'm really looking through text really quick, and I see that he's talking to a few different people. One message in particular I'll never forget was like, oh, I had so much fun with you yesterday. My mom really liked you. And my heart dropped because I'm like, bro, his mom is condoning this behavior. His mom is out here liking every girl, you know? So that really broke me. Anyway, so I was like, oh, I just text my mom, and she texts back, okay, cool. And the way he saw my face when I said that I texted her instead of calling, he knew that I went through his phone. I saw what I saw. I went home. I text him immediately. Like, as soon as I walked through the door, I text him immediately. Whatever this is, it's done. He texts back, okay. My heart sucked. He didn't even fight for me. He didn't even, you know, he wasn't even like, why? What did you see? Like, he was just like, okay. All right, so then that was that. We didn't speak for almost a week until I went crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I need him. I miss him. I'm bored without him. This guy, like, had me stuck in a routine where I'm, like, speaking to him every day, and I felt weird not having him to speak to. So I texted him out of the blue, and I was like, can we work on this? Like, can we try it again? He put LOL, yeah. This guy did not care. He was like, okay, sure. Our phone conversations got deeper. So we're like at this point now starting to get to know each other a little more. Like before, everything that we spoke about was surface level, very surface level. But now we're talking again. And I'm trying to really get to know this guy. I'm really trying to pour out my life. I'm pouring it out that way he could really get to know me. And so we're talking at this point. Everything's going good. Anyway, summer's about to end. I go to the mall with my girlfriend, and guess who I see at the mall? I saw Clown at the mall with his girlfriend. One of many, I'm sure, because when I went through his phone that day, it wasn't just like one girl he was talking to. He was definitely talking to like 7 of us, okay? But there was just one in particular that stood out and was always going to his house. But he was with a girl, and I made eye contact with him. No smiling, no nothing. He just walked away. Like, he saw me and just walked away. And I will never forget that. I was like, damn, that hurts. And I would love to say that I never spoke to him again. It was actually at school. I saw him at school. We had another class together. And even then, like, it was like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, it was never, we never discussed it. We never spoke about it. We never, that was it. So I say all that to say it's actually kind of funny now because he ended up falling into drugs. I'm just going to be honest. Like, he ended up falling into drugs. And he's been reaching out to me ever since. Like, oh, we should talk again. The boy don't even look like how he used to look. He looks like he's aged. He does not look good at all. But it's so funny because after that situation, he's been like trying to get back into my life, trying to apologize. And I'm like, boy, absolutely not. That was my little relationship, if you will. It was the first one for sure that definitely, it didn't break me. I wasn't heartbroken, but I was the most embarrassed about it because I kept going back to a guy that like really did not care at all for me at that time. Like, he did not care. There was no feelings. Everything for him was surface and trying to get into my underwear. And that was that. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There was no true deep feelings. For me, it was like, I really liked him. So there is my story about how I got really cheated on, embarrassed. I mean, there's that. I have many more stories to come. Thank God he didn't like take my virginity. It would be a different story for sure. I probably would have been obsessed over the kid because I was kind of getting there, and that's without him even touching me like that. So if you like this video, thumbs up, comments down below, let me know your crazy stories, and I'll see you next time.